So this is my mom, and you know me already. We're talking, and obviously you guys know I'm a big advocate, and I speak a lot about mental health, disabilities, and obviously I'm all about doing charity events. I'm talking to my mom because I wanted people to have an understanding from a parent's perspective as well. So we're talking in regards to cleft lip and palate specifically, because obviously I was born with cleft lip and palate, but this is tied in with mental health and coping. And this has come to light because I do get messages from people, beautiful people, who say, Tatsy, how you're so strong. I just obviously wanted to say to everyone, it's not the case, really. It's no one knows how you truly feel on the inside. So a lot of people I've spoken to already know some of my story with regards to my battle with anxieties. The only way to explain it is to go back, isn't it, Mum?
Yeah.
So basically, I was born in Belize, and unfortunately, they didn't have the technology and treatments in place for cleft lip and palate babies. And when I was born, obviously this part was open, the nose had collapsed, I had no palate, and it's an open wound essentially, and they needed to send me to a specialist hospital. And really I was lucky because my grandparents had some money because they had businesses and they paid for my treatments. But I went to Mexico, had some surgeries from the age of 3 months old.
Yeah. Because
I was still too young as a newborn to have surgery done straight away. So they did what they could. My mum will tell you her side from what she remembers in a bit. Mm-hmm. So, and then after that, I ended up with infections because things had been left in, and it ended up infected a few times. So I ended up having to go to Guatemala for them to fix that problem. My mum had obviously met my stepdad.
Yeah, just before.
Before, like
you
when
were 2.
Yeah, I was 2, but I class my stepdad as my real dad because he's amazing. But Mum came to the UK, and obviously because I was having surgeries, etc., I couldn't come straight away. When I did come, I was around 7 years old, and they had the best surgeon in Europe for cleft lip and palate, certain disabilities, Dr. Goodacre, amazing surgeon, absolutely amazing. So my journey almost had to start all over again in some ways with the cleft lip thing, because Dr. Goodacre had to kind of like correct the surgeries that had been done. So I think I've had about 12 to 14 surgeries maybe.
About that, more or less.
Yeah, in total 14 surgeries. And the thing is, you know, it meant that during school holidays, in some cases, I'd have to heal during the holidays.
Yeah.
So it didn't impact school when I had surgery. And it has an impact on your mental health. I had no self-love whatsoever. I think I found it hard because obviously scarring, kids will be kids and say stuff. And even growing into adulthood, adults said stuff too. And it's kind of, when you already have such low self-esteem and you don't want to even look in the mirror. And at the time I had a good figure, but I never thought I did, because obviously my face was the main factor that used to get to me. And, I always used to say, I'm going through all this pain so that I can eat and breathe properly. But it's kind of like you want to feel accepted, I think the word is. And I hated cameras. I hated videos. And I remember my best friend, actually, Jazz, she had photos of us, during times growing up and even clubbing and stuff. And then she said, oh, I'm going to post these. I said, no, you're not. I said, you are not. I said, I look ugly, absolutely ugly. And I'm going to try not to get emotional because I don't want my mom to get emotional. And Jazz is like, oh, you're beautiful. And I'm like, hell no, I'm not. And what didn't help was the fact of people around me putting me down. And
not at home.
No, we know this, Mom. I was lucky I had good parents, and my brothers, yeah, very protective, especially Lewis. Anyone said of one little bad thing about me, that was him going flip mode squad.
He does.
Yeah. So it wasn't easy. And my way of coping, no one could bully me at school, and they know this because I was having none of it. None of it. And that was my coping mechanism, was to fight. And I always make the joke it's the Mexican in me. But no, it's because I felt that my mum and dad's always said to me, basically, don't leave yourself like that. If someone's gonna say something to you, you make sure you fend for yourself. And I've always been one of these where if I start something, I'm gonna finish it. So it was kind of like, okay, barriers are up. The minute someone tried and start with me, that was it. I was like, no, you don't get a chance to be a bully because I ain't letting you. Like me, don't like me, but whatever, get out of my face kind of situation. And I felt I had to be like that. And in certain cases, even people who I thought were friends had said stuff behind me. And obviously, after I defend myself, I would go home and mentally it would hurt me, because it's like these people are supposed to have my back and they didn't. My mum's got this saying, which is very true. How can you expect anyone to love you if you don't love yourself? And I don't want to say I regret my past, but it was choices that I made, whether they were positive or negative choices, but it did make me stronger. But it took a lot of pain, because I ended up in a relationship very, very young. And not saying that these people are bad, because I never want to put people in a certain light, but physical, mental abuse, telling me, obviously, because they had a gambling addiction, when they didn't get what they wanted, it was a case of, no one's going to want you, look at your face, this, that, and the other. And it hurt a lot. And in some ways, because I was young, I had this bit of jealousy, but I never said anything about it really to anybody. It's just like, I used to think, why can't I be normal? This is back then. I don't see it that way now, but it used to make me feel that way. But as time went on, you know, I've had 3 major relationships in my life. As the second one wasn't great either. Purely because, again, you fall into a pattern. But this time round, you know what? I don't have an ounce of jealousy in me from that point to now, and I won't in the future either. The reason for that is you get to a point where you're like, wait a minute, who am I? You know? You know, who am I? And eventually it's almost like you snap out of it and think, I'm used to going with this person because they've given me that attention. And you know what? The other side of it is people would be like, that man's good looking, why is he with her? You know, gobsmacked, really. Yes, I can date good looking people. I don't think I'm that bad looking myself, thank you very much. And it was just stuff like that. And obviously that's going to have more of an impact on your mental health. Because, you know, to the point where you're like, you get to that point where you're like, especially because you got to remember I was younger, much younger. And it's like, do I want to be here anymore? Because people, you fight. And because I've been fighting since I was pretty much born, and I'm not the only one, there's people far more worse off, like far more worse off. And you know, I've met these people at Changing Faces.
Yeah, they were great.
And it's a charity that helps with people with facial disfigurement, but also they do counselling. And again, because you got to remember, being a child at the time, the longer you leave it without speaking to someone, the more self-hate you have.
What helped you a lot too is your dad.
Yeah, my dad. Very much so.
Anything when you were upset, he would cuddle you.
I'm a big hugger, as people know. The ones that know me, I'm always hugging. That's my dad is just amazing. Changing Faces teaches you, if you've got facial disfigurements or scarring, about how to help to camouflage it with almost like makeup stuff. And it was really helpful because I got to talk to people about how I was really feeling. And to get it out of my system, because as much as my parents loved me and my brothers, they couldn't be with me to protect me 24/7. You know, they can't. And you can't wrap your kids up in cotton wool. And even though I was strong in outer appearance, it's when I was by myself that I would start thinking, and then I would let people get into my head thinking, well, am I ugly? Am I this? Am I that? As time went on, as I got older, obviously at that point I started gaining weight when I hurt my knee, and that made things a million times worse, because everyone knows I'm the dancing, football, I used to do it all, and then because I hurt my knee, I ended up gaining weight, and it just got worse from there, and that really had an impact. I think the reason I'm going into all of this is to show that it's taking a lot for me to find myself. And, you know, unfortunately, my last relationship, the third, he's a good man. It just didn't work it just didn't work. And again, it comes down to self-love for myself. So I have been doing so much self-love, and what I mean by that is working with the mirror, as an example, speaking to people, actually wanting to look at myself in the mirror. I've lost like more than 3 stone in weight, and that's through dancing, from DJing, and eating a lot better, healthier, and almost learning to love myself more and more. And starting the DJ journey, I remember my friend Jessie, she said to me, because she DJs as well, she said to me, listen, woman, you are going to get in that camera. I do not want to see your fingers. I want to see your face. I want to see all of you when you're DJing, because I'm not going to be there watching your fingers, woman. And I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And the thing is, I had to quickly learn, even though I was absolutely terrible at mixing at the start, I was self-taught, learning YouTube videos, but I was adamant I was going to do this. And the rush of it was because we were doing a charity event that I had organised. And it was like, no, I've got to do this. And the thing is, I had just turned, when I did my first live, I just turned 40 odd. Yeah, 40. And I was like, how the hell am I going to deal with this camera situation? I hate cameras, right? And then I hate photos. And then it's kind of like, right, you've got to do this. You're doing it to help other people. This is why you wanted to go on this platform. I want to talk about disabilities, mental health, because they're tied together. When you have self-hate, it brings on mental health issues. Yeah. It does. Insecurities, you name it. And hell knows what happened. Something inside of me, I'm very spiritual. My mum's a medium. And obviously I've got my own little things that I feel and whatever. That's for another time. But I was just like, you know what? Excuse my French, but fuck it. I'm doing this. I am doing this. Turned the camera on. I was like, oh my God, I'm actually doing this. I'm like freaking out. I was like, it's okay. It's okay. And then it's kind of like, I don't know how I did it. But the minute I pressed play on the music, I was so focused listening to the music, I forgot the camera. I forgot the camera. And there's me dancing around like a fanny and all, like, woo! And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, the camera. Oh, sugar. I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, I'm here now. They've seen it all now. It's tough, isn't it? And then I was like, I've actually got to talk in this microphone. I can talk for ages. Everyone knows that. That bit I was fine with. It was the talking on a mic while people are watching me on a camera. Face to face, I'm okay. Because I can see people's reactions towards me. Whether they're judging me or not, I can see it face to face. But obviously streaming, you don't know what people are thinking about you. But that's the problem, innit? Why do you care what people are thinking about you? After that first live, I broke down, cried, had a panic attack. I was shaking, but I'd done it, didn't I?
Oh, yeah, you could do it.
I know you did. I was like, you got this. You can do anything. You know, no matter how scared you've been, you've always done it anyway. And this is what I'm telling people. Even if you're scared, push. It's not easy, but push to do it. If you've got a dream and you want to succeed, the only way to do that is to fight for it. And nothing's ever been given to us on a silver platter, has it, Mum?
No.
I always had to work for it. And this is like, I'm lucky because I've got good parents who, even my dad, he taught me how, he's an ex-army dude. So he taught me about being strong too. He taught me how it's not true that blood is thicker than water. And like I said, I don't class him as my stepdad. He'll always be my real dad. He always will be. And every surgery that I had, I used to have fear of needles. When they had to put the cannula in, take blood. Bearing in mind, I was only young, and I used to cry every time because they would put the numbing cream on, you name it, and I would still cry like a baby, wouldn't I, Mum? I would sob. Mum would have to leave the room.
Yeah.
Because she couldn't cope with it.
No.
When I was having surgeries in Mexico and that, because Mum was over here trying to get things ready for me to come over and stuff and save money, because obviously Mum and Dad had to pay for everything, like nationality, passports, you name it, doing things the right way for us to me to come over, and that cost money. So they even lived in a caravan and stuff. The times were hard. Mum's English wasn't great.
It wasn't that.
It was the writing more than, and the reading, weren't it, more than?
Well, it was pronunciation.
That's
because we speaking a lot in Creole to English, it took.
Yeah, but you did it, Mama.
I did it. Yes.
You know, I look at my parents and they work hard, and I look up to them because, you know, they're like, right, you want something, you got to work for it. You got to do your chores. You got, you know. And some of my friends used to look back and go, why are you doing chores? My parents just give me money. I'm like, well, I've got to earn my money. Like, my mum and dad make sure I could cook, clean, you name it. So
And
when
the
I did
brothers.
move out, yeah, and the brothers, yeah, all of us. But when we move out, we're already got the tools we need to be able to live by ourselves. Mum even taught me how to balance bill books.
Yeah.
You know, it again, all these things that you need. But anyway, because I was so like scared of needles, my dad used to have to hold me while the nurse had my hands, and she was doing what she was doing. He tried to talk to me. I'd be sobbing and answering him. And we had a bunny rabbit, a white bunny rabbit teddy thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up starting this little tradition, let's call it, where for every operation, I would put my hospital sticker on Bunny's bum and the hospital bracelet that they give you on his wrist. And I think I was been about 10, about 10.
When you started it?
No. Later on.
Yeah.
When I had one of my surgeries, and I think it was a big surgery because they were doing a bone graft.
No, that was when you had about 8, 9.
No,
9.
I think I was a bit older than
9.
that.
No, it was 9.
Either way,
Mm.
I turned round and I said, the nurse was coming to obviously do the scary bit of needles. And I turned round, I don't know how, I was petrified, but I thought to myself, I'm going to do this. And I looked at my dad, I said, Daddy, don't hold me down. I'm going to do this. And I said, I don't want to be scared no more. I already know I'm going to wake up in pain after the surgery, and the morphine's going to make me sick, because I'm used to that by now. But Dad, don't hold me down. I can do this. And my dad looked at me and he had tears in his eyes, and he was just like, are you sure, baby girl? I was like, Dad, I can do this. And I gave the nurse, I said, please do it. Just do it. Not even with the numbing cream. I said, please just do it. Mm-hmm. And I turned away and I let her do it. And the proud look on my dad's face when I'd done it, you know, that was something. And it's things like that that you remember, because even though I went through all that, it was worth it. So I could eat, breathe, you name it. It's all worth it. And I'm petrified. I was petrified. I said to my mum, I used to have nightmares. And the thing is, I don't know how I remembered this, but I remember being in my dreams wrapped up in a blanket, and these doctors around me. I'm screaming as a baby, and they're prodding me and poking me with needles in between my toes, my neck, and I'm screaming the place down. And I said to Mum about this a long while ago, and my mum's like, how did you know this? Because this is what had happened
In Mexico.
in Mexico. And I remembered that. That was hence the reason why I was scared of needles.
Yeah.
You know? But you know what? It's taught me how to be strong. And speaking to my mum, you know, it wasn't easy for her either. So to all the parents out there that have, you know, your children going through any form of disabilities, I never use the word normal. There's no such thing. We're all different. And it's about embracing what you've got and working with what you've got. You know, just because someone doesn't have legs and they're in a wheelchair doesn't make them any less of a person.
No.
Just because you've got scarring on your face or wherever else doesn't make you less beautiful. You've got your own beauty in your own way. And people will always try and bring you down. Hence the reason I always say to people in my life, if perfection existed and I was perfect, which I'm not, but if I was, people would still find a reason to judge me. Hence the reason doing these live streams, going on camera, I take loads of bloody selfies now. And I'm on video all the time. On my down days, which I still do get, I'm like, oh, I don't want to look at myself right now. But you overcome it. You know, I am worth loving. I have got my own beauty about me. You know, and it's not easy to say that, because even part of me, if someone compliments me, boy, that I find hard. I find that hard. The other day, I got really big gifts from a beautiful person, and I've always said, I don't come on there for that. If I can make at least one person smile, I'm happy, because I know that I've done something good. If I can be there for someone, even with just spreading positivity and love, that's what I'm there for. But I find compliments difficult, and I know when people are gifting, they're spending their hard-earned money. And when this woman was gifting me, I burst into tears in the live, because I said, am I good enough? I start questioning myself.
You always are.
Like, I'm like, she's spending that money on me. Am I worth spending that money on? And it's kind of like, and she was like, you deserve this. And then Devil Boy the next bloody day gifted me, and I'm like, you know, and it's about believing in yourself. You know, I'm doing all these interviews, reaching out to all these artists and celebrities and what have you. I have no shame.
She doesn't.
No, I don't. Thing is, if you want something, you gotta go out and fight for it, man.
Go for it.
And I'm like, I'm not gonna be shy about that. And you know, I know I've got my own beauty in my own way. And one day, you know, this self-journey is going to be for the rest of my life, because, as I say, when you're going through ups and downs, on your down days, you forget.
Oh, yes.
You know, you have to fight for that light.
You need to remember.
Exactly. Now, I'm going to ask my mom, obviously, just to her side of things when we were going through, obviously, me as a baby and the stuff that she went through, and my dad as well. Reason being is, Mom and I have both been approached by various people in the past as well, saying that their child has got cleft lip and palate, etc., newborn baby going through surgery, and any parent having this beautiful newborn baby and they've been born with cleft lip. It's scary when you originally see it. It is scary because it's an open wound,
Yeah.
you know. But that's true. You know, like they are beautiful. This is the main point. But me and Mum spoke to a lady, a mum, and said your son will be absolutely fine. You know, you will find.
Give him
So,
a lot of love.
yeah, and how he will be absolutely fine. And once his surgeries are finished, it'll be like it's all a past. You know, it'll be fine, absolutely fine.
Well, for me, it was hard, very hard, because I didn't see you the first night.
Yeah.
But I heard my friend because she had a baby just after I had.
Yeah.
And she saw you, and she started crying, so I could hear everything, but I wasn't allowed to see you then. Your incubator.
Right.
And when Gloria started crying, I started crying because I knew there was a problem then. Because I've known her for years, and she's manager of Barclays Bank in Belize. And I just wanted to get out. But at the same time, a nurse came in, so I didn't go out. Because she said I needed to rest. But anyway, by the time morning came, the doctor that attended to me is my cousin's husband.
Right.
So he, the one that delivered you. When he came in, he came up with all the addresses that I needed to go to take you. So he brought you in. And the reason he didn't bring you the same night for me to see you is because you needed to be in the incubator a few hours. So he wanted me to rest. And I could remember one of the things he said, that it was good that you were born 10 pounds because that will help you. And he had already made some calls to Mexico to find the best hospital and everything. So he came in with this. My cousin was there with him. And, you know, and I had the inquiries already made for me. So that was nice. And my cousin, the doctor's wife, she came every day to see you. But I was crying. And I remember I had to feed you. I started with spoon feeding you. But no, she came with some, I don't know where she got it. Well, her husband is a doctor, isn't he? So she came with these big syringes made of glass. So she mixed the milk. And I used to feed you with it, and it was so much easier. But I couldn't put you too low because...
Or like flat?
Yeah. Because it would come through your nose. So I couldn't put you too forward because you would start coughing. So it was, at nighttime, it was really hard, as I had to feed you every 2 hours. So I wasn't sleeping. I have my other two boys.
My brothers.
And Dad said, no.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Granddad, yeah.
He said, no, I'm getting you a night nurse. And that helped a lot. And with my cousin coming every day still to check. I mean, I think she stopped coming for a little while when you had your first operation. because then things were easier then, because you could take your bottle then.
Mm-hmm.
So it was different, but yes, it was hard. The blanket you were saying, this time, mom always came with me to
My
Mexico.
grandma.
Yeah. And this time, both my parents came, and they couldn't find a vein on
Yeah.
your neck. So obviously, they wrap you on a blanket, a
Keep
white
me still.
blanket, keep you still so they can get it. But you were screaming so much that my dad went in and said, "Stop it. You're hurting my granddaughter." And he wouldn't let them touch you for that day. You know, he said, "No, we're going to another hospital." He had, Dr. Viana was in Belize.
Yeah.
He was from Mexico, but he was working in Belize. Dad always kept in touch with him, so he phoned him. Raul Viana was his name. Very nice doctor with his family. Yeah, so he came in and explained, because Dad had explained to him what he didn't want. You know, he said, "I don't care how much it costs, but I don't want my granddaughter to suffer more than what she should."
Yeah.
And that's where that problem came, that I don't know, you dreamt about it, but yeah, that happened. Although it doesn't matter how much sleepless night you go through, but how to say this, I consider myself lucky because I had my parents that put my children and I first.
Yeah.
A lot of these people don't.
Especially
they have it hard.
Yeah.
Especially with no money.
Yeah.
And that.
Yeah.
Once you had that first operation, the other operation were less stress. But I never went in. Was always my dad or my mom, because I couldn't handle it.
I know, Mom.
I couldn't handle it, so I would stay outside crying, or, and it is hard. It is hard because we ask, why did it happen? And they don't know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. But where we live in Curacao, you were one of the first then.
To have the cleft lip thing. Right.
In 1984.
Mm.
And, afterwards there are other children that were born. And I remember the first time someone got in touch with my dad, because the supermarket is the high street.
Yeah.
So everyone knows my dad. So they went, and Dad brought them up to me. And Dad leave me with her so I can speak to her and show her more or less what to do on everything.
How to handle it all.
Yeah. And then he knew they couldn't afford the doctors we had.
Yeah.
But because Dad goes over Mexico a lot, and the people that were the customs and the guards, and most of them used to come to the supermarket and buy.
Yeah.
So Dad asked them, what is available, because in Belize they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
They didn't have technology.
Not the facilities for
the operations, yes, but private they couldn't afford that. But Dad found the General Hospital in Chetumal, just over Mexico
over the border. Yeah.
And they help Cleft Palate. We didn't know that, did we?
No.
We didn't, because we were sent farther up.
Yeah.
But they don't charge
Oh, okay.
that to the people that need it most,
Yeah.
not to the people that have money.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But you just give a donation.
Right.
So when this baby, I can't remember the girl's name then. I think she was Amalia or something like that. And she turned around and said to my dad, but I don't have that kind of money. And Dad said, don't worry. It's a donation. I will deal with it. So
Okay.
that took her,
Yeah.
because she was a single mother. So, yeah, that was good. And everyone after that, apparently, I heard that some people used to see Dad, to ask questions.
To find out about something.
Yeah, but yeah, it was hard when you were when I came
To the UK.
to the UK, I didn't brought you over because I didn't know what was over here for me.
Yeah.
I didn't know, where I would live, and I didn't want you to struggle with me.
Yeah.
So I turned around and said to my dad, I'm not going. And he said, why? Because if I go, I said, I will worry about my daughter. And he said, I will take good care. I promise. And I said, okay. But he said, remember her operations. If you have to pay over there, it would be too much money for you, and you would have. Okay, I said. But I was really being scared of coming afterwards. I was.
What, coming back?
Coming up to the UK. But I came because Dad said, if you don't go, you will always wonder, what if? So he said, if you go and things don't work out,
Could come back.
phone me, I'll send you a ticket, you come back home.
Yeah.
So I nearly went back. But no, yeah, when you were having your operations and I wouldn't sleep, I would kneel down and pray nearly all night. I knew Dad, bless him, he was always
Trying to keep you
calm.
Must have been hard.
It was, but it has its benefits too.
Yeah.
Look at you now. And the reason I always taught you to defend yourselves, even the boys, is because I always wonder, if something happened to me, you can look after yourselves. But God always kept me safe. We went to Guatemala to see specialists over there, to the special hospital. And I saw some babies really bad.
Some of them have two, don't they?
Yeah, some have two. They did, and some didn't have the nose. And this doctor, did marvelous. A lot of babies. What hurt me the most was seeing all these beautiful babies, because I always say, for a reason, God has made this happen. I don't know what the reason is, but I just felt for the babies that were abandoned.
Yeah.
Abandoned. It really...
That's awful.
I got so frustrated. I was really... couldn't believe it. I was so emotional for days.
Yeah.
And my mom just gave a donation to help the babies.
Yeah.
And the reason we didn't go back there, Dad was worried it will affect me more
Yeah.
going back there.
Yeah.
So he said, let's stick to Mexico. It's farther, but the plane takes you, he said. For the border, still in Guatemala, some American doctors came.
Yeah.
And they did an operation on you, and they left cotton inside.
Oh.
So after a few days, a bad smell was coming from your nose and through your palate.
Yeah.
You know, the bits that they have worked. And Dad couldn't believe it. He was so angry. You know, and he said, we had to take you back to Mexico. What was done to you there affected you for a little while, because the bad smell, we had to go back to Mexico again to rectify that error they did.
Yeah.
But saying in Belize, I'll be honest with you, I never really heard people talk bad. Only one person.
What about me?
Yeah, she said, oh, I feel sorry for her. And that really, really angered me. And I went out there and said, why are you sorry? Nothing wrong with my child. You know, I said, my baby is nothing. It was God's work. I said, why he did it, I don't know. But one day we'll find out, I said. But you don't need to be sorry about my child. She's well looked after. So I told Dad, and you know Dad.
Oh, Lord.
I wish I didn't tell him. But
did he go off his head?
He went right to her, and she explained. I know, he didn't lose it with her. But he just explained.
Yeah,
and he said to me, she didn't say that in a bad way. She said it because she didn't understand it. She didn't know.
That's the problem, though. See, that's the thing. People don't realise the fact that, just as an example, they rebuilt my palate because I had a hole there.
Yeah.
So they rebuilt the palate. Obviously, a lot of nose surgeries to try and get it just to the point so you can.
Can I stop you for a minute here? That's why your operation. Yeah, you were 9 because Sean. I wouldn't.
Yes, we're not getting into that.
That's why your bone graft was then. You were 10. You weren't 10 yet.
So
you were nearly 10.
Nearly 10.
Yeah.
So a bone graft is basically
to build up your palate.
Like my lip.
And your palate.
And my palate. So basically they took a bone from my hip and they put this bone, like obviously from the palate to my upper lip.
Yeah.
Just, it's basically a structural thing, and it had to be done. I can't remember the exact reasons, but basically because they were doing stuff. And
is this bit they were working on?
And
the palate is weird because it's like they do like a bridge, if I remember right, but they have to use, if you remember too, skin was taken out from you too.
Yeah. I just remember the stitches and the blood.
Yeah, but the skin, if you remember, you couldn't have showers for a little while.
Yeah,
because it was washes because of the skin graft. You remember the skin graft? Yeah. Well, apart from the bone, they had to take a bit of skin graft too.
And I just remember walking like a little old lady with thing that looked like a Zimmer frame nearly.
Yeah, you were scared. And don't you remember your dad carrying you sometimes?
Yeah, because I always hurt. Like,
Yeah.
and the morphine made me so sick.
Dad would carry you.
I was so ill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
It's not something you generally forget. It wasn't till I got on to the age of 8 years old, 7, 8 years old, you become more aware visually of yourself. Like, because from what I understand, my parents and my grandparents, you know, they told me I was obviously not shy. I was this chubby
No,
little
you're
toddler,
not shy at
and
all.
apparently I entertained people on a bus,
On the
dancing.
plane.
Dancing, could you believe that? Me dance?
Where were we going? We were going to Miami, if I remember right. And Mom and I were from Belize to Miami, and then we were going to Texas, I think, or Chicago, one of the other. I can't remember right.
Oh.
But I asked the young lady if I can let you walk a little bit, because you were walking already, you know. You were. And you were saying hello to everyone on the plane. And then all of a sudden, I can see you. You were on the other row over there saying hello, and you know,
Like
and
a little
everyone
stewardess.
just and you would say, "Oh, that's pretty," or things like that.
We had loads of parties.
Yes, we had so many parties at home
Mm.
that you were there showing off.
Oh Lord.
Also, in summer times, I used to, although I work in Marks and Spencer in Oxford, I used to take, if you remember, I used to take students to make extra money.
Oh, the students, yeah, I remember
and they would be dancing. So their friends
them
would
the
come. Their friends would come, so the house was never empty.
Oh, I know. I miss her. It was fun. And they'd be like, "How do you dance this?" And I was
Yeah, I remember that. You were there, the leader. I looked like that. Are we getting any rest? He went, "Nope, let's go." So we used to go to McDonald's and just leave you guys to it. But no, you always, that's where music, you like R&B, Dad likes R&B. Rock, you like a bit of rock now.
Reggae.
Reggae, he likes soca music.
Coming
because
from
he was,
Belize as well.
He got used to it. Like I say, I mean, oh my gosh. I could never say your dad was boring because he wasn't.
No.
I got to know, with your dad, of course, all the clubs.
Oh, Lordy.
In Oxford.
And in London.
And the nightclubs.
See where I get it
from? So many parties, because I work in Marks and Spencer, and Dad was at the army. Then he was security, so there was always something going on.
Oh, I love that. Living life to the full.
Oh, yes. I don't regret.
I love that.
Although he and I didn't, but he's the same. We feel that we had so many 20-odd years of happiness.
I love that, Mom.
Whatever decision you do has consequences.
So true. So true. That's why you have
and it doesn't matter who says what. One of the things I learned from my dad is that, remember when I told you when I separated from your real father, because he used to hit me and I still have scars. But the reason when I got to go and live in San Ignacio, and see how that happened, because my dad put me in San Ignacio, and that's where I met Chris too. Yeah. Months in advance, months afterwards. Yeah. But see, it is with the universe, because I finished with Javier. Yeah. And I went to a place where I met Chris. So everything has its own.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
See, this is why I wanted people to hear this, not and I don't need anyone feeling sorry for me.
No.
You see someone, but you don't know what they've been through, and some people have been far worse off than I have, right? And the thing is, it's about pushing on. It's about having faith in yourself, that believe in yourself situation, and knowing that, you know, even if you have a bad past, it's about saying, okay, this did happen, but you know what? I'm here in the now.
Yeah.
You know? And things happen in life.
It does.
You know? I mean, a couple of years ago, and I think this is the other reason why I've went on this self-love journey, because I ended up with sepsis.
Oh, when you got really sick.
And I almost didn't make it. And it makes you think, and I'm still battling this stuff now, which a lot of you know, but it just makes you realise more and more how life, you don't know what's happening tomorrow. So it's about living for now, enjoying yourself, doing the things that you love, making sure other people that you do love know that you love them. Embracing things. Don't be afraid to try new things.
No.
And even if you are afraid, that's okay. If you're nervous, it's okay. Use them nerves.
I got a bit scared because when I went, I felt like I was losing you.
When I had sepsis, Mum.
I told you.
I
said to Stuart, I said to him, I just feel like I'm going to lose my daughter.
Do you remember when I kept dreaming
that you were going to die?
That I was going to die in my early 40s. Just before, when I was hitting my 40s, and I kept having this reoccurring dream, like something was telling me something. I'm always
Can I say something just before you finish?
Yeah?
If you have a mental health, if you have any problems whatsoever, counseling is good. I myself have had counseling. I made sure my daughter had counseling. I made sure my son had counseling.
Yeah.
So it is good because it's someone else, and you learn. You start learn to loving yourself.
Yeah.
Which is very important. I especially don't care what people say about me or think about me. That's not their nerve here or whatever. You know, it doesn't bother me.
No.
I will still go out there and smile and respect and be humble.
Amen.
But no, guys, if you need help, find. Don't love yourself.
Exactly, and don't, you know, it's okay to talk about it. It doesn't make you weak. And I'm saying this especially to the men, because the older generation was always taught, you know, it's a sign of weakness if a man cries. It's a sign of weakness if you talk about your problems. Problem is, you're a bit like a volcano, because this is the problem. You don't talk about it. Something else happens. You don't talk about that. Each little time, yeah, exactly. And that little thing becomes another little thing. When they're all molded together, your mind and you as a person can only take so much before you snap and you erupt. People talk about it. Whether you feel you've got that special friend, whoever. I mean, I'm blessed now more than ever because I've got my inner circle of people, believe it or not. I found, as well as my best friend, like, and a few others that I know in person from being over here in school and stuff, I've also met people on TikTok through the love of music. Music and dances have helped me heal so much. And I've got my special people and, you know, around me, and I've got so much love for them.